like all my dreams, ending in the sky. Some fellows look and find the sunshine. I always look and find the rain. Some fellows make a winning sometime. I never even make a gain. Believe in me, I'm always chasing rainbows, waiting to find a little bluebird in vain. Some fellows look and find the sunshine. I always look and find the rain. Some fellows make a winning sometime. I never even make a gain. Believe in me, I'm always chasing rainbows, waiting to find a little bluebird in vain.
Oh, when you smiling, when you smiling, the whole world smiles with you, baby. Yes, when you laughing. When you're laughing, yes, the sun comes shining through. But when you crying, you bring on the rain. So stop your sighing, baby, and be happy again. Yes, and keep on smiling. Keep on smiling, baby, and I hope the world smiles.
If you can hear this, do not adjust your Aethervox. This is the Avalon Society Emergency Broadcast Network. You're listening to a recount of the real events surrounding the catastrophe which occurred in the city of London at the end of May 1907. In a shocking turn, prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick was shot during a rally. Her speech stopped short by a stray shot fired by none other than her close personal friend Ludovica. An atrocious act spurred by the insidious influence of her attorney as a publicity stunt to boost public opinion. Nolan Trelawney, notable member of the Avalon Society, sequestered our fated friends to the Windsor Hotel and offered startling insight into word of an imminent wave of destruction whose origin lie within the Burning Man above the city. To secure passage from the city, our heroes must search the streets for the sinister Spring-Heeled Jack, a murderous malcontent who may know something about the oncoming calamity. After speaking with the Kruligans outside of the workhouses, they learned of a hard-hitting journalist, Harriet Hawthorne, who is hot on the heels of Spring Heel Jack. What will our fated protagonist find out from this feisty female reporter? Stay tuned and find out as we continue into episode 3 of London Falls.
G'day guys and welcome. So, when last we left our explorers in the midst of London, they were hot on the heels of Harriet Hawthorne, a news reporter who had found out some information about the infamous monstrous creature known as Spring-Heeled Jack. It is their hopes that they can find Spring-Heeled Jack and learn a little bit about the catastrophe to come. They now stand outside of the local London Rag, a huge newspaper that seems to boast one of Britain's greatest published news forums. The entrance is not unlike what you would expect from a bullpen of a hard-hitting journalistic newspaper. There are big sheets of the articles that have won Pulitzer Prizes and huge headlines of most notable conquests. Even the Black Powder Wars, the coverage that is done on that is just lining and framed this entire office space. There are people on phones constantly chattering around one another. And at the front desk, you can see a receptionist who is basically answering akin to what you'd imagine most receptionists with those old kind of, little switchboards would be like, hello, welcome to British News, please hold. Yeah, British News, please hold, and just swapping things around, barely noticing you as you enter.
I do think that perhaps before we approach this individual, we should have a bit of a plan, don't you think? Are we just all going to traipse in there and what? Sort of demand to know where this is. I mean, is that what we're going to do?
Well, I think you may be onto something. And Montague, you have something for the paper anyway, do you not?
Well, I've certainly written a lot of correspondences to the newspaper, and I do spend a lot of time. But my initial reaction was to perhaps send the two of you in, Madam Molenbeek and yourself, Premier Honor, on the assumption that Henry Hargrave might be susceptible to your wonderful charms. But now I suspect perhaps the professor should go in.
Well, I was referring, of course, to that news story that you, she touches her shoulder, generated.
Right. Well, yes, I suppose we could go in on that too. Yeah. Quite right. I do just know that if one sort of charges us an individual that one wants information from, it can get sometimes a little bit overwhelming and cause them to sort of run, sort of. But
well, I
Professor,
think
you're used to this sort of thing, aren't you?
Well, I can do my best. I do think, though, that we should need to align what we want. What's the goal here? What do we want to achieve? Those street kids, the orphans, they told us some confusing things I still need to get my head around. So we're looking for Mr. Henry, right? The reporter here.
Well, Trelawney said that we should talk to Harry Hargrave. But,
right, Harry Hargrave.
That Spectre said we should talk to a Harriet Hawthorne. And I believe that there was some allusions to the fact that they may in fact be the same person, although of that we cannot be sure.
I agree, but I think one of the things that might have confused my rather old brain here is that there was a talk about some costume being worn, a lady that is kind of wearing No, it's a man wearing a lady's dress, right?
I think it is the other way around, maybe. A lady
Well,
wearing
so-
a man's trousers because, you know, ladies are not paid well. And people usually don't heed their opinions.
Some
Yeah,
ladies
well,
aren't paid well. Sometimes people don't heed their opinions.
However,
You're no
I
lady, my friend. You're a vision.
Oh, darling.
well
Always just
said,
so
well said. I think, though, that we should know what we are asking. Are we trying to confront Mr. Henry for being this lady? Are we asking him if he knows? So what's the plan?
It's a
Well,
very good question. Perhaps we
I-
shouldn't discuss it in the lobby of the newspaper. A small
As long as we
German-
have you with us, no one is going to notice us.
very true.
Sadly, true.
Well, look, I believe we need to speak to Harry, whether Harriet or no, about spring-heeled Jack. That was what Trelawney told us as well. So let's go and see what may be found out, and we can go from there. What are your thoughts?
Yes, but
As
Donna,
you- As you discuss in the lobby, Professor Scarpati, you hear chatter from one of the nearby seats in the bullpen. There appears to be a very familiar voice that seems to be talking to one of the reporters. All right, son, spill out the story. Tell us exactly what you've heard and where you've heard it from.
Well, I was born in a pile of rubbish. My mother left me in a pile of rubbish, you see. She left me there with nothing but a dirty nappy to eat. My only possession was this shirt. I had to feed a pack of rats a day, or otherwise I'd be eaten alive. My best friend is a cat's carcass, and
Look.
he's no very good influence on me. I spent days
Look.
scrounging for scraps, nothing but a pittance in the gutter.
But I-
only to have other straight hurtons push me around and take my food.
Just Professor Scarpati, you can hear the very familiar din of
Yeah.
Billem's rambling as he seems to be recounting his origin story. You
Do
you
I
look
get-
around, you can definitely see where at least you can see his top hat.
Yeah, I would approach. I wouldn't interfere, but I would just, with my walking cane, I would like walk up there and stand behind Billum.
All right. The rest of you can watch as Professor Scarpati does walk into the bullpen. The receptionist does nothing to seem to stop this. She seems to be in her own world, sort of plugging in things and whatnot. There is a very, very forlorn-looking journalist who is listening to Billum's story, and he's got like maybe a small pile of papers next to him with just, yep.
Yeah, I would pick one of the sheets and I would just start reading it.
Excuse me, sir. Can I help you? You seem to be lost old timer.
No,
Billum, nice to see you here.
they're asking me questions and I don't know what to do.
Well, be polite and answer them.
I was telling him the whole story, nothing but the story, everything but the story.
Very good. So, have you told about your mother already?
Oh, my mother was a rat. She left me in a pile of cats. And the other day, I found a shoe.
Oh, you know what? If you're here to collect this young person, then we've got all the answers we need. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. He sort of reaches over to grab Billum by the hand, and then he sort of remembers the story about eating a dirty nappy, and he sort of, yes, well,
Yeah. Professor John Scarpati, my name. This is my associate,
yes.
Mr. Billum. Do you want to hear my story too?
No,
would just
quite all right,
grin.
quite all right. They have everything I require. Have a delightful day, sir, and You as well,
You
lad.
too. Can you point us, by the way, can you point us to your colleague, Mr. Harry Hargrave, I think?
Hargrave? Oh, yeah, sure. He'd be in the recording studio at the moment. Just down that way. But are you sure you've got an appointment, or are you just sort of here, family, friends?
Do I look like I would leave my precious home if I wouldn't have an appointment with Mr. Hargrave?
Of course not. Of course not. Yep. Just knock on the door, and I'm sure he'll see you. Sort of
Thank
carries
you.
him.
You're certain that you're finished with Mr. Billum? I'm sure
yes,
you have some clever...
absolutely, 100%.
Okay, then we will be
I have
leaving right
never
now.
been sure of anything in my life. In fact, the only thing I'm more sure of is that I've wasted 3 years of college learning journalism. Thank you, sir.
That was the last time I ate cheese.
Right, Billum, come over. And we will walk back to the rest of the group.
Ludovica, you are, of course, in the lobby, accompanied by Edward and Hortensia Fiddlewick. What is it Ludovica is doing amongst this, these discussions and the like?
Well, she has her widow's veil over her face to disguise the fact that she's even for Londoner standards very pale.
Mhm.
And sometimes black ectoplasm leaks out of her eyes. So she must mostly having her head down, slightly demurely, and then sniping with a few words when into the conversation of Hortensia and Edward, and just also eyes are wandering around because she's always a little nervous in these spaces that someone might notice.
Understandably so. Edward, Hortensia, your discussion?
Yes, well,
So you see, well, after you, Prima Donna.
well, look, it seems to me that one catches more flies with honey, so to speak. So, what if you and I go in and we announce this travesty that I was shot, and in the meantime we can maybe strike up a casual conversation with the journalist about all these strange things which have been going on.
Perhaps. But it still strikes me, having worked with journalists, that perhaps he won't necessarily just divulge. So perhaps, and this is where Edward attempts to look crafty, perhaps what we should do is actually, you and I take this Harriet, whatever, out to where you were shot. And whilst talking to him and plumbing his depths to the very core, perhaps that's when the professor can put his archaeology tenure to good use, and he and Hortensia, he and Lady Molenbeek might pay his office a visit, if you know what I mean.
Why,
Unusually crafty you are today, Montague. I rather like this look on you. Yes, I rather like that. Yes. What do you think? Shall we try that?
What talents do I bring to the story that I'm the one who's going to rummage around their stuff?
In a manner of speaking.
No, I'm not exactly inconspicuous.
Perhaps. Has the professor returned to us yet?
Yes, the professor returns at this juncture as he approaches with Billum.
Well, perhaps you could be lost, or helping your old uncle wander the halls to a meeting, and he needed to sit down quickly, and so you chose that particular.
I get it.
It must be said
yes, I
that,
do feel lost.
Yes, I
Yeah,
don't
me
blame you.
too. But if you're looking to obtain things while the reporter is unaware, I think Billum is really capable of helping us here.
Just what I was going to say. He seemed to have a particular knack in that territory.
Oh, there he is. Where were you?
I have a knack for stealing, grabbing.
No, for obtaining, darling.
All
It's the
right.
same.
If
It's
you need
absolutely
sticky
not the same.
fingers, mine are the stickiest.
There you go. So here we are. You two approach, whilst Ludovica and I play the lost uncle and niece thing, while Billum is trying to get up the... Well, you can't read Billum, can't you? Or have you learned it in the meantime?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well, so maybe you could with your sticky fingers, you could make some of the notes that the reporter has on his desk stick to them somehow, unseen.
I can tell the difference between a letter and a number.
That's perfect. Well, whenever something is written on it, take it.
All right.
Oh, he's going to bring us chocolate boxes.
Yeah,
Yes,
probably.
perhaps if you're nearby, then the two of you can assess what is coming.
Yeah, we will do our best to, well, I will do my best to help my associate retrieve the right information.
Why don't we just give him the stab?
Well, it's so
because
much to do. It's rather prominent. Besides, we might delete it later.
that
Right,
mostly that. We
So-
need him later.
We've got a plan.
What?
Team break? No?
No.
What are you doing?
I believe he's trying to punch ghosts or the air, or I'm not entirely sure. Come,
No,
let's go.
never mind. It's fine. It's just go. Let's just go.
Indeed.
I read it in a novella about what the Americans are doing. It's fine. Let's just go.
I stride up to the secretary's desk and I tap on the. Is there a bell?
There is indeed a bell.
Okay, so I ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
She says,
In a very
"Oh, I know.
irritating way.
I know, dear. Oh, yeah, yes, no worries. I'm just." She takes the bell and puts it underneath the table. Sorry, I'll just call you back in a minute, love. Afternoon and welcome to the British newspaper, which we are a legitimate one that I know of.
Yes, indeed. The London Times.
The London Times. Welcome to the London Times.
Yes.
Do you have an appointment?
My darling, I am the prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick. Appointments are not necessary for me. I have a very urgent and terribly interesting story that I think Harry Hargreave must know urgently. He is he's been made known to me as well.
Oh no!
my
No need to
service,
no need to say any more, love. I know why you're here, Mr. Hargrave. There's another prima donna here for an interview. You hear over the voice box next to her the sound of this this rather busy individual.
All right, send her right in. I'll see her in just a moment. Tell her where my office is and fetch me a coffee.
Just down the hall.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. You have a wonderful day now. Can Montague? And I stride towards the office.
As you and the others stride towards the office, you can see that one of these doors has a star on it, in the words Harry written boldly in letters. As you approach the door, you open it, and inside you can see a very cozy looking office and a man who seems to be sort of looking out. Looks like a newspaper journalist, as you would expect them, vest and a small kind of, paperboy hat type thing. And in his hand, he seems to have a glass of brandy, two of them, in fact, and seems to be smoking a thick cigar. As he turns to face you, he says, "You're a little earlier than I was expecting. Wow. I've got to say, the service has really started to do a number. You're a real ringer. You know that?" Have you ever thought
So
about being in a
freaky.
movie, kid?
I look him down. I look him up. I say, I am, aren't I? Come, Mr. Hargrave, I have things which you will wish to hear, as
Oh,
well
I'm
as
sure
things that you will wish to see.
Oh, I'm sure I do. Please have a seat. He then goes to close the door and notices everyone else outside. He's,
Just Montague.
It's just me.
oh, it's just
Yeah,
Montague?
the rest is a little bit
Oh.
down the hall.
Oh,
being
okay, yep.
Lost.
In which case he doesn't even stop. He just sort of slams the door in Montague's face. Now, what's it that old Harry can do for you?
One moment, I think I've left my baggage in the hallway. And I open the door and let Montague come in.
Thank you so very much. Edward Sebastian Montague Hargrave, well, Hargrave Montague, actually, in relation to Harry, lawyer and representative for the prima donna.
Ah, pleasure to make your acquaintance. You're the one that brought the coffee, right?
What? No, I don't have any coffee at all, I'm afraid. I suppose I could get some.
Oh, I swear. Claire, where's my coffee? Claire? Oh, that woman. I swear to God, I swear. Good help is hard to find these days.
Indeed,
If you don't mind, I've got a private meeting if you, Mr. Frederick Edginson the Fifth. I don't know.
That's
Oh,
closer
yeah.
than most people get, isn't it, Montague? I
It's
take the
pretty
brandy
close,
from Hargreaves' hand and I sit down in the chair and I say, we have such a story for you, you would not believe. Tell him, Montague.
Well, actually, I think it's rather better to show him, Mr. Harry Hargrave.
Whoa.
The prima donna
Now-
was shot. I'd like to show you where.
No, I'm not sure what kind of business this service is trying to run here, but I'm afraid I asked for one person, should I say, and I don't need no teacher guiding me around. You know, if you get what I'm saying, Mr. Philip.
Yeah, it's kind of right. Aren't you the world famous reporter?
I am. Aren't you escort from the company? No.
No, my darling.
Oh.
I am not the lady of the news. I am the
Oh
queen.
my God!
of
I'm
the-
so sorry. He quickly puts the brandy away. He sort of straightens up. Oh, you're here with an actual lead. Oh my God! Here I was thinking all this time, London is the place to be, especially underneath that giant burning star thing, and yet not a single person knows anything about it. I swear, I've run myself ragged. All I do here nowadays is just sit around and drink. If it weren't for my beloved fiance, I would have gone straight back home. You know, tell you what, job of the heartbeat.
Indeed. Why don't you sit yourself down, Mr. Hargrave? You appear exercised.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now, story. So, what's the scoop? Prima donna
I'm-
shot.
Just out of character, do I speak idiot? Do I know what Montague just said?
Sure. I will say that you can vaguely determine. You can vaguely determine it.
But
We're
excellent.
supposed to be getting him out of the office.
Is this on this some guy's character day again?
I just started making noises with his face hole. I completely lost all of them.
Yes.
Thinking
And
it's
what
starting
he-
to come in my brain.
To our
What he
lovely
was
audience
saying-
to our lovely audience who have joined us, thank you so much for coming and hanging out today. In case you're trying to decipher what is occurring, our group is trying to gather information from this American reporter who seems to be working at the London Times. They have managed to get into his office and intend to try and get him out so that Billum, their little gremlin thief, can sneak into his office and manage to steal some information from it. However, instead of getting him out, they have offered him a seat. So now he is sitting and preparing to take a full and disclosed interview from Hortensia Fiddlewick regarding her recent shooting at the hands of Ludovica. I feel like
Just
a
that's all straightened now, yeah?
question.
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Lovely.
Did we hear him calling for coffee outside?
You did.
Okay.
So, this is a little embarrassing, but if you look here, right here, don't you see? Yes, it's right here on my.
He
Very-
takes his brandy again.
Yes, lean in so you can see it properly. Come on, Harry, you must see it very properly. I was shot right here, and it was terrible. You know, it was very traumatic, and it happened right in the middle of the street. In fact, do you know what? Let me show you exactly where it happened. You must get the full picture. Won't you come with me, Harry? Won't you come see where it happened? I reached my hand up.
Miss Fiddlewick, as much as I'd absolutely love a dalliance through the streets with, of course, such a beautiful woman, I'm afraid I can't leave right now. You see, my partner in crime, as I'm expecting her any minute now with a full scoop on a rather big story. And while I think, of course, your injury is definitely newsworthy, I'm fairly sure that some of the other reporters might be able to help you out with that. My missus is working on a very interesting bit of news.
More interesting than a rally.
Well,
and mecha soldiers and the guilds and all these. What on earth could be more interesting than that? I believe you're lying to me, Mr. Harry.
He sort of turns and he sort of goes, monsters.
What?
Yeah, that's right. Monsters. Bonafide, certified monsters. Some sort of giant demon floating around, going from house to house, creating a hell of a hullabaloo. A hell of a hullabaloo.
Simply don't believe you. Where's the proof, my dear?
Where's the proof? Well, that's the weird thing. Well, Harriet was supposed to be here by now with, of course, all the information and proof that I needed to run my story. But she hasn't checked in yet. In fact, that's exactly what I was waiting for. And I thought I'd spend a bit of time, in some good company while I waited. You know, just enjoying a delightful drink and all that.
Indeed. I look Mr. Harry Hargreave up and down. Is there any chance that this person is not blessed with a full load of testosterone? This being 1907.
Well, of course. She's my fiance. Harriet.
No, I'm looking up Harry Hargreave up and down. I'm trying to see if Harry Hargreave is the same as Harriet Hawthorpe, as we thought they might be.
You don't know much about Harriet, but as you look him up and down, he does mention that Harriet Hawthorne is his partner and fiance, and in fact, the person who beats the streets and brings me the news, and then I do the old tippity type writing it down, and people buy our articles. That way, she continues her work as a journalist, and I continue my work as appearing like a man, which is more or less the only purpose that I serve in our dynamic relationship.
Yes, that does seem about right. So, there's no chance that you want to spend some time in my company. Bewitch!
You may make a bewitch check to charm. He is very charmed. He's very charmed. What is it you're hoping to do? You're trying to get him out of the office?
Wiggle him out of the office, yeah.
Okay, make a bewitch check.
I would like to use the positive flip that I was gifted by a kind member of the audience in episode 1. Is that possible?
That is absolutely possible. And while Hortensia does this, while Hortensia attempts to do this particular check, you guys might notice that there are a couple little sort of impy gremlin-y things that are underneath Hortensia's name. What these are advantage and disadvantage zones where you guys, for the low price of $10, can absolutely give an advantage or disadvantage to any check made by our players during the stream. If our bar down the bottom of the stream hits 100, which it builds up over time, a random giant boss monster spawn occurs and unleashes devastation upon the group. So yeah, food for thought, just so you guys know. All right, so with our bewitch check, we have a 10. What does that put our total at?
We do. That puts our 10, our total, at 14 to bewitch.
14. All right. Well, with the 14, he says, well, You know, there is a coffee shop just outside. I'm sure if I went there, the missus wouldn't miss me at all.
Exactly.
Why not? Edward, old chap, why don't you keep a, I don't know, lookout, I guess. He sort of offers you his arm as he gets ready to leave.
And they told me Americans weren't gentlemen.
Oh, horrible eyes. We're all gentlemen.
I'm looking forward to having that proven. Come, dear, let's go.
All right, you escort Harry out of the the newspaper building to a small coffee shop next door.
Ludovica follows them with her eyes and then leans over to Scapati. Did they just leave Argrave Montague in there?
Looks like. I'm not sure. Do you? I think. Do you want to have an eye on the prima donna while I go and have an eye on Mr. Montagrave?
Agreed. I feel like our plan has become a little bit superfluous as one of us is already now in the room we were trying to sneak into.
I'll go in.
Yes, you sneak around, love. You sneak around. I'm going to follow Hortensia with a safe distance and keep an eye out for suddenly disrobing transvestites or something.
Can happen.
Right. I would, Billum, let us look after our dear Mr. Edward, and I would try to get back in the building.
All right. Well, it isn't very hard. Again, no one stops you. It is not Fort Knox in any way, shape, or form. And as you get to the office, the door is opened. Inside, you can see Edward. Edward, what are you doing inside the office?
Edward is being very sorry and steaming with rage as he sits at the desk of the reporter, not looking at anything.
Bloody Americans.
Barely paying any attention when the professor and Billum walk in.
You do see his very expensive decanter of brandy next to a couple of glasses on the table, as well as like a small box of Cuban cigars.
It's not fair, Professor. You know, it's just not fair. Really not fair.
When did you get here?
What?
Were you here the whole time?
Yeah, I think he was. And as useful as always, he just sits around instead of looking through the notes on the desk. Well, why don't you make yourself useful, old friend, and start looking for some clues here instead of sulking?
Well, I quite frankly, I don't really see the point, to be perfectly honest with you. We walk into this office, he smiles at her, and the next minute she's dragging herself off on his arm. Whereas I have been around for years as confidant, as supporter, and do you know how much roses cost to send to that every performance?
Well, I look, friend, let me tell you something. That's a ruse she's putting onto him so that you could look through the notes. If you would prove yourself valuable to her, maybe find something. I'm not sure that she will pay any attention to you if you just sit here sulking. Do something.
Yeah, don't be fat and useless.
Well, yes, I suppose you do have a point. You really think that she went off with him so quickly because she was sort of not beguiled by all of his wealth and his big American accent and his big fat cigar?
Well, I haven't talked to him. I can't really tell you that. What I can tell you is that it was your plan to go in there and distract him so that we can get notes. Now he's not in the office. You are, and there are the notes. I thought you were clever.
I saw the way she looked at him. There was magic in the air.
I will, in the meantime, I will just pour a big cup of brandy, and I will be like, oh God. I will take a cigar, and I will give the full thing where the cigars are put in. I will hand all of that to Billum.
Like a pig in shit. I am so happy.
Yeah. Keep that for later. I think we might need more of that later.
Billum is already drinking the brandy straight from the bottle.
All right, as you continue to search around,
And we, by the way, and yeah, right, we start to look around.
Yeah, you find on the table a series of notes, all of which seem to be a mixture of very, very valuable research materials that lead you to believe that indeed Harriet Hawthorne, who also refers to herself as Harry, because it says Harry's notes, but it's got a very feminine, very cursive kind of writing, has been looking into a few people, including Mrs. Ottoman, who was the individual that you were told about, as well as the Museum of London, which is across the channel. There was apparently a break-in by a demonic-looking creature, and she was scheduled to go and investigate later on that afternoon. However, has not yet done so, according to the schedule. You can tell that these letters, or these particular letters, were written by a woman, mostly because the other side of the notepads, you can see that someone seems to have drawn a showgirl doing the can and slowly stripping off some stockings as a flip book.
I will hand that to Billum as well.
Billum, you have a partially erotic flip book.
I'm going to put that away for later.
I want you to add that to your character sheet. I want you to write that down. Erotic flip book.
I already am.
That's it. Okay. So, erotic flip book in hand and having searched it. Meanwhile, on the outside, Ludovica, you obviously watched as the prima donna left. Did you follow the prima donna, or did you follow the professor?
I followed the prima donna. I was thinking that the professor and Billum and Hargrave Montague would be fine. 3 people in the room, they're going to do the job and not drink and laugh about it.
So they just, you come back, they're just sloshed. The brandy, by the way.
Ludovica goes out and pops open her parasol. And then very, very proper with a parasol and her handbag and her widow's veil.
Very well.
Goes after the prima donna.
All right. As you do so, you see that not too far away, there is a small cafe. A waiter comes out with a coffee and prima donna, what do you order from the cafe?
I order my own special creation of drink, which is 3 espressos in a flute of champagne, like topped up with champagne. Yeah.
You watch as Harry looks at you and says, I love a woman with class.
What can I say? It's wonderful for la voce, you know.
Yeah, definitely for that la voce. In fact, could I get another one of the la voces as well? Yeah. As he sort of points at your drink. The
charming troglodyte.
The waiter sort of turns and he's like, okay, and he brings out like a flute of champagne with 3 shots of espresso in it. He sort of starts to ask you a little bit about yourself and the like. Ludovica, I need you to make me a notice check as you can see them chatting away.
Happy to. And flip. And what have we got? That's a 6. That would be an 11.
Okay, with an 11, you notice that there is an individual nearby. He seems to stand and be addressing a small crowd of people. The man is the tattooed individual who bumped into Edward earlier on. This figure sort of standing there saying, "Blessings be, because the sky gods have determined that we, the chosen few, shall bring our righteous fire to the furnace of eternity, and from there everything shall be engulfed in flames. So saith the burning man." So saith the Burning Man. And upon the word of the Burning Man, we will take down and burn his establishments. All hail the Burning Man. Started, of course, with the papers that refuse to accept his existence. They tell lies, spinning falsehoods, tales of the arcanists. I don't know how he became more redneck, but it's happening. Tales of the arcanists that seem to have used their magics. Tales of the resurrectionists that rise their necrotic energies high into the heavens. These are all but lies, people, that these deceivers would have you believe. We will not fall quietly. We will not have our eyes turned to cinders in front of us. We will burn the likes of these deceivers down. Yeah, you see that kind of cheering and stuff like that. Looks like this small group intends to set fire to the newspaper.
Well, someone looks like they need a bullet.
Middle of the street.
Mm. No.
Lead injection.
Yeah, that's it. Just
Courtesy
50
of Madame Mullenbeck.
Yes, 50 cc's of lead.
Ludovica goes to the cafe and waves over a waiter.
A waiter comes over to you. This waiter is a little shorter than what you expect. He wears a tiny vest and has kind of this little sort of red handkerchief kind of in his shoulder. He's also green and has no hair. As he walks
is it you,
he
La
goes,
Rouge?
It is I, La Rouge. I may be of assistance.
Hop to it, La Rouge. I need the purest alcohol this place serves.
The purest alcohol. Yes, no, I know just the one. Behold, this is called moonshine. It comes from America. My cousins, they bring it over. I have not yet told Billum this was for a special occasion. It was once he finally killed that old man, we were going to drink it and celebrate on his grave. But yeah, if you need it, here, please.
You will find something else to celebrate on the grave of the old man. Thank you very much, La Rouge. And she slips over a few script.
Oh, merci beaucoup. Very well.
Oh, and do you have a lighter or a match?
What are you talking? Of course I do. He pulls out the longest, Frenchest looking cigarette and one of these sort of matchsticks, that you find at for those of you not as old as Michael, back in the day, matchsticks used to come in these small little business card leaflets that you could flick open. You would then snap off one of the matches and use it. That is what we used to have back when I was a lad. Anyway, so yeah, he pulls out one of these matchbook things and strikes it up for you to light the cigarette.
Well, Ludovica does her best to get her lungs to move and do things. Yeah. So the cigarette glows and then gives herself a really nice bit of moonshine in a glass.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Tucks a parasol under her elbow, and then the poor old widow is stumbling towards the crazy people.
Okay. As you stumble towards the crazy people, I assume you're trying to kind of.
I want to bump into head crazy and dump a bit of moonshine over him.
Very well.
That's the plan, and then maybe set him on fire, because.
Okay, you walk over, staggering towards this individual. As you do so, you very, very intentionally / accidentally trip and spill the glass of very volatile moonshine. Please make me a deception check as you do so.
Yes. Luckily, I'm good at deception because I thought that would make sense for an undead lady trying to live in living society. To not live in living society. That doesn't look good. What did I draw there? That's a 3. No, wait. It's an 11. I don't know how I could mistake that. No
an
idea.
11. All right.
So that's 16.
Very well. Cheating with an 11, you spill the alcohol all over this this person's body. He looks down at it and then looks over at you. As you
I'm
sort
so
of
sorry. Just they took my husband. The devils.
They took her
runs on
husband?
and drops a few words about falsehoods and stuffs the cigarette into the alcohol.
All right. As you go to stuff the cigarette into the alcohol, we cut to the newspaper room where we get to see Billum, John, and Edward. You guys have gotten quite a hefty way through the alcoholic beverage that you have been enjoying. Now, for those of you who don't know what a decanter is, it's like this beautiful glass that you use to let brandy and cognac air. This thing was about 3/4 full. It's now about a quarter full, maybe, if that. How you distribute that among yourselves is entirely up to you. But what's happening in the newsroom right now?
So I would like to, because there's a calendar, right? I saw in the calendar that there was appointments were made for later. Now, I don't know how much I caught from the conversation that the prima donna had in there, but I would like to see what this morning, what appointments were on this calendar for this morning. So where would Harriet be right now, or where would she have been?
Harriet would technically be returning from Mrs. Ottoman's house after an interview this morning.
Okay. You see, looks like she went on research and interview Miss Ottoman. So this fellow, well, I think we have what we have here. There's not much more to find. Why don't we meet up with the rest and decide if we want to go to the museum or finally to Miss Ottoman?
I mean, yeah, it's best course of action.
I am.
Oh God, cheer up! There's plenty more flies in the swamp.
Well, can you still walk, Edward, or do we have to carry you?
Can't carry him. He weighs. Look at him.
No. It was a polite question. We will leave him sit here if he can't walk.
I thought you were gonna make me drag him.
No, what? Look.
Where
I forgot what I was going to say now. Wait a minute. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So the point of the matter, I don't trust. That's it. You know?
Oh no.
All right.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go.
Right.
Yeah, you cannot trust while walking. Can we do that together?
Edward, you have been awarded a disadvantage from the audience on one of the roles, which will be claimed.
That's possible.
Yeah. So I'll claim that at some point.
They don't approve of your drinking, Edward.
You're holding it upside down, Edward. All right. So you begin to make your way out into the streets. Edward, you're kind of still kind of wallowing at the charming but devilishly stupid American man who has walked off with the prima donna, with John and Billum behind you. Meanwhile, at the cafe, you can basically hear the sound, the Harry just going on. Yeah, and that was the sixth time that I won the Kentucky Derby. I mean, it was just a phenomenal human achievement. Given the Kentucky Derby wasn't even invented, I was actually the one who created the situation that allowed for rough riding cowboys to actually turn, rough riding into a sport, legitimately. And I'm only just doing this because, Harriet, she loves her some paper and reading and such. And yeah, no, you gotta help out when women want, because I'm a big advocate of female voting and opinions and things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, of course, darling. Yes. Oh no, do go on. Do tell me more. Yes.
As he attempts to, you suddenly hear a colossal coming from nearby, as a fire has now erupted in the middle of the street. There is
Oh, great.
screaming, there is yelling, there is swearing, there is an ah coming from about maybe 4 or 5 meters away.
In the key of A major. Interesting.
Yeah. And there's a shrill woman's voice. No, the burning man has seen us, and he's striking him down. His words were false. Ah! And then you see Ludovica slightly cackling under her breath, running away with the other people.
Under my breath, I say, I'd forgotten Ludovica was such a drama queen.
All right. John, Billum, and Edward, you walk out into the street and can also see this burning individual.
I will quickly look up and check if the burning man is still in the sky.
The burning man is definitely still in the sky.
Yeah, there are now 2 of them. Okay. Well, are they, I mean, what's happening to that poor individual? Is he on the ground? Is he like dead?
No, he seems to be thrashing around quite in agony. He does not seem to have died.
Is anyone reacting, or are we just standing in front of him?
Well, there's a crowd of people who are sort of panicking and stepping away from this individual for obvious reasons. But no one's really done anything yet.
Should we let him burn or?
What?
Well, can you put him out, Billum? I mean, can you wait? Rephrase. Can you put the fire out, Billum, without putting the individual out?
All I have is leftover brandy and cigars, and frankly, cigars light from fire. So that's
Well, don't try to douse the fire with the brandy. That would be a waste. Still,
we could put this wet sob, pointing to Edward, on him.
That would be kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
You're a wet blanket.
Edward, are you wearing a mantle? Are you wearing something like a coat?
Yes, he's always in his barrister's outfit.
So I would just walk over to you and take off your coat, and hand it to Billum.
I will run over to the burning man and start fanning the fire.
All right, you walk up to him and begin to fan the flames. As the flames begin to lick and coalesce around the body of this individual who is screaming, writhing, and the flames seem to be constantly getting hotter and hotter. Eventually, the flames do seem to temper. They don't temper in the sense of going out, but they begin to take shape. Soon, the ashen form stands before you, and fire glows purposefully from his eyes, mouth, hands, and feet. The person that you see is no longer a human, but instead has taken form as the creature you can see before you now. All right.
Oops.
Charming.
That was going to happen
Wow.
anyway. That's not my fault.
And with a terrifying hollow sound, you hear as the creature
I retract again, Billum. You can put him out now.
All right, as we will go into initiative, as you now face off with this burning incendiary creature. All right, let me just move some stuff around here. There we go. Cool. Thank you so much for the follow, Old Yard, and for Den Blurb as well. Thank you so much. and real Abby Norm L. He needs a hug. That's all he needs. Just needs a hug.
Maybe
All
with
right.
asbestos arms.
Okay, initiatives, if you would be so kind. Oops.
12.
Okay, that is a 12 for Ludovica.
And also, quick question: has he died?
Yes.
Snack time.
All right. As you eat his soul, as Ludovica is capable of, something is deadly wrong. As you do so, the soul is not coming into your throat. While you do gain chi, you also gain burning 1 as your body also erupts in a very purposeful flame, which I will actually do now while I remember.
And I'm going to use one of my abilities as a soul eater, and instantly when I gain the chi condition, I can very quickly move for a short stretch. So I'm going to very quickly move towards anything that looks like water. Like if there's a rain barrel somewhere or anything.
You could see a sewer line that seems to be running like a gutter that runs along the street nearby.
Yeah, well, maybe I think twice.
Maybe I'll just burn. Oh, no.
Maybe I just burn. Yes.
All right. Billum, what was your initiative?
Oh, I got 10.
10. All right. Till. Sorry.
Scarpati has a 13.
13. Okay. Edward.
5.
Oh, there you are. Because you're drunk. And Hortensia.
3.
Oh, good lord.
Terribly distracted.
You're
Because
terribly
there's
distracted.
someone brighter on the street.
Oh, said the words. All right. And this individual has a score of 8. So, Professor Scarpati, you are up first, followed by Ludovica, followed by Billum, followed by this burnt individual, followed by Edward, followed by Hortensia. So, John, you're up first.
I would like to step a little bit back so that I'm in the doorway between the newspaper and the street. So I'm a little bit away, and then I will pull out my gun and I will just start shooting at it.
Very well. Pulling out your gun, you aim true and straight towards this individual. As you do so, you may. Nope, that's fine. Nope, it's just a pistol check. Nothing special about him.
Okay.
All right.
So that's a 10. What is it? Is it of crows, right? That's
10 of crows.
Right. So that would be a 13.
A 13. All right. With a 13, you manage to hit. The defense on the creature is 10. Because you beat it by 3, you flip 2 cards and take the lower of the 2.
Well, that's a 5.
All right. So that is weak damage, which is your low damage.
Which is a 2. Right. That's a 2 here.
All right. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Flip 1 more time. Not that it'll make a difference, but he is also hard to wound, meaning that you will also have difficulty dealing damage to him. Yeah, so that's fine. Hard to wound, yada, yada, yada. Nope. Cool. All right. That is it. He takes 2 points of damage.
Okay. Do I have a second action? Can I shoot again?
Well, it would take 1 action to draw your weapon out. The second action.
Well, it's. Oh well, I think as a gunslinger, I can.
Oh, you have a 0 action to quick draw? Yes, I know. I believe you're
Yes.
right. I believe you do. Then yes, by all means, make your second attack.
Second attack. Well, no, that is definitely 12.
All right.
Plus
Cheating that up to
3,
a
so that would be a 15.
All right, with a 15, that still beats by 1 margin. So flip 2 cards. Take the lowest. Sorry, 3 cards because he's hard to wound.
Yeah.
All right, that is 12, 9, and 12.
Ooh,
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that is moderate damage, which is...
Sorry, moderate damage is a 3.
3. Okay, nice. Wow. Okay. Another sizable chunk blows from this creature's side. More fire seems to pour out of the open wound in its chest as it seems to sort of be propelled. It's almost like the body itself is limp and dead, and the fire is the living thing driving this thing forward. All right. Next up is Ludovica.
Well, Ludovica is dashing for the cleanest water she can find.
Very well. Please, you kind of, again, make a notice check. Make a notice check.
Thank you. Let me see something else but the sewer.
Are there still horses in London?
There are still horses in London.
Might be able to find a horse trough.
Oh, yes, that's true.
11 plus 5, 16.
11 plus 5. Yes, you do indeed see a horse trough, which is filled with fresh water.
Then I'm just going to roll into that as ungracefully as a burning woman in full Victorian dress will.
Very well. You make your way rushing towards the where you can see the small trough, and you dunk your head into the water. As it does so, 2 things happen here. The first is the flames do indeed get snuffed out. The second thing that happens, however, the less admirable thing here, is that your makeup also begins to melt off. And your rather unique, less than lively heritage is a bit more on display. All right. Billum, you're up next.
First thing, throw the cape on the ground. Don't need that anymore. Pull out me fighting claw, and in good jest, aim for the knees.
All right. You rush over and attempt to slash at this dude's knees. Because, I mean, being on fire is not good enough. You know, you clearly need to go for his knees.
Oh, you gotta make him stumpy first. Bring him down to my height.
All right.
That's, oh, jeez. 17.
17. Okay, with a 17, that'll hit and beat by 1 margin. So that is normally a straight flip, but with hard to wound, that is flip 2 and take the lowest.
That'll be 8.
An 8. All right, 8 points. So that's medium damage.
3 damage.
All right, 3 damage. The creature looks very injured. It seems like it's really struggling to kind of stay upright, but it is still awake, alive, and well, undead. I mean, you know, when you're trying to describe whether undead look healthy or not, it's very difficult. It is not moving. There you go. That's as good as I'm getting. Yes. So 1 action to draw your blade, 2nd action to attack. It is now the creature's turn. As the creature looks out over at Billum, it seems to decide upon itself to inhale deeply and breathe out a gout of fire. The fire is hot and burns intensely. I need a defensive flip from you, please.
All right. It's a 2 or an 8.
Don't forget your card up your sleeve.
Why do you flip with disadvantage?
My bad.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Why are you flipping?
Yeah, no. Forgot that. Defensive, 2, 8 total.
8. So your defense is 8. You need to get a 13 to avoid the attack.
Then I will use my card up my sleeve.
All right, you have to discard a card to use that card.
Of course.
All right. Very well. You managed to narrowly avoid the flames of this rather hot customer as he turns to you and decides, you know what? That was quite enjoyable. I'll do it again. Oh, sorry, I did forget one other thing. Could you make me an evasion check as well, please, Billum?
An evasion.
Yes, please.
Oh gosh.
Evade.
Evade.
That's from speed, isn't it?
Is this a duel?
This is a duel.
You rolled a 1 or drew a
Roll
1. I object most strenuously for reasons.
Very well. With the good lawyer's objection to reality, as it were, you may reflip that and treat that as though it never happened.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. What happened?
That brings the flip to a 10 plus 4. That's 14.
All right, you're with a 14. You are okay. When you cut into its flesh the first time, it actually did damage, but also spilled fire out into the street as its blood seems to be boiling and immolated itself. So yes, you would have taken a bit of damage, but do not. With its last action, it is going to reach out and try and grab you with a burning grasp as it reaches to try and basically just touch you in the face. Make a defensive duel.
That's a 7.
Okay, well, you need a 13.
Mm-hmm. This isn't gonna be good.
All right. So a 7 versus a 12. That's a negative flip, if you would be so kind, as the creature reaches forward and places its hand firmly on your face.
Oh, that's a 2.
Well, no, that's actually good because that's the damage. So you can smell the sizzling sound. You take 1 point of damage. Now, with your attack, with your defense, what was the thing? It was rams, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rams. After it succeeds, you gain the condition ever burning. The character does not end the burning condition. At the end, you need... Oh dear. Okay, someone needs to cast counterspelling on you in order to put the flames out, because you have taken 1 damage and are now burning.
Fun.
What?
Everybody
Does
ends up in
anyone
the
know
horse
how to spell?
Anyone can counterspell. You do not require a training in any kind of way to use it, but it is magical flames that will not be put out by normal means. So water, sand, etc. will not smother the fires that now engulf poor Billum. That is all the creature does. All right, next up is Edward.
Is there an actual effect for being inebriated?
There is. I was ignoring it, but I
Okay.
guess I can. I guess I can give it. No, I can give it to you. It's fine. It's like right here. I don't even need to look it up. Intoxicated. Characters with this condition suffer negative flips to all willpower jewels for the next 10 minutes. If you further become intoxicated, you then gain the poison condition. So all your willpower jewels have negative flips.
That's okay. And then I have a negative flip anyway because of the wonderful audience members who don't like Edward.
Well, that's only if I decide to use it on a particular thing. If there's something particular, I'll be like, meh. And then
So not only is it the audience who hates Edward, but it's then entirely up to you as to when to stick it to him?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's nice. Okay, sure. Well, in that case, Edward is going to shout, cameras, 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 and then pull out his very small gun and trying to shoot this fiery thing.
All right.
I believe it's just a shot, right?
It is indeed, as you make your shot. Now, when you were yelling out cameras, were you Were you trying to deceive the creature, make it unaware of your actions?
No, I was trying to call for the press. This
Oh,
is a
right,
great
right, right.
opportunity
Ah,
for the prima
yes, of
donna to
course.
shine.
Of course.
Prima
Well,
donna saves London. I mean, it's brilliant.
they rush out with their cameras. There are people there just
I drew a card, but I think I flipped everything. In my defense, I'm drunk.
I think,
no.
think you exchanged the draw and the
I don't
discard
know what I
and flipped them both.
What? What did
I
he
think
do?
you flipped the main deck.
No, it's
Hold on.
Oh my god.
Okay, Edward doesn't do anything this turn apart from scream and run around shouting, cameras, cameras, oh my god.
Right.
Guy is no longer allowed to touch the tabletop.
No, I'm not even, my hand's nowhere near the mouse.
All right. There's only so far I can go back on this, so I think that's as far as it's getting. I think we're now okay. So I'll do it for you guys. There you go. That is your actual shooting.
There you go.
So apparently, whilst running around screaming for cameras and randomly shooting at this thing, I get a 13 to hit.
You do, or do you?
Or do you?
No, I'll let that one
That's
slide.
dirty, Mike.
No, that's fine. All right, so you got a 13, so that is a negative flip with an additional negative because it's undead. So flip 3 cards, and you will take the lowest on that. So that is an 8. That is a 7. That is a 11. So that is medium damage on your attack.
3.
All right, 3 points of damage. That slays the creature where it stands. However, as you shoot the creature and it detonates, the fires leaving its body, you watch as all the flames begin to coalesce and form a smaller creature. And you see this. If Eddie would be so kind. You see.
What the hell is that?
All right, there you go. So you can see this awful looking creature. It seems to be made of basically compressed fire. All right. And that should, yeah, there we go.
Is it
All
still
right.
grabbing Billum?
No, it's not grabbing Billum anymore. The body or the hand that was grabbing Billum sort of crumbles, and the fires have sort of left the body, and you see this sneering, smiling creature. You are aware of what this creature is. It's not an uncommon creature. Magical energies that possess the elements sometimes manifest in the form of creatures known as Gaiman. They are literally living embodies of, well, whatever element they are. In this case, this is a fire Gaiman.
Okay.
All right. Next up is, after Hargrave has shot, is Hortensia. You watch as Harry, sort of sitting next to you, goes, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." And he hasn't even gotten up. He's just kind of got his arm over the table. The only thing he's probably protecting you from, logically, is the salt shaker, but that's about it.
And repeat service. I'm almost out.
Oh, yes.
Well, yes, okay, well. Looks like things are under control. I flick my hand like this. So tell me more about you. As I flick my hand, I would like to cast an illusion that is distracting.
Well, what would you cast to distract the little fiend?
I think I can use. I can find it in the book. I also. It's called Phantasmic. Something or other.
Phantasmic something or other.
Yeah, that's a technical term.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a singer, all right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but we've had to put up with you and all your fancy big ass words about singing.
That's true, but now I
What
can't
makes
find
us what makes us colonials feel a little inadequate?
Oh, baby bean, I'm sorry.
Michael, you only feel inadequate because it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Ooh.
Little too.
What do you mean?
Hey,
Note to
he's giving
self.
me negatives, right?
I'm gonna yeah,
in for a penny, in for a pound.
There's fighting words.
It's
Sorry,
true.
I'm going very, very slowly through the book I have here to try and find it. Oh, here it is. Sorry. I had it all lined up and then I changed window. So I can cast Phantasmal Distraction. Enemies within 2 yards of an illusion this character created may not make disengaging strikes. Also, my illusions have the center stage feat, which means that, well, you gave it to me last week. I know what it means.
Yes, indeed. You can basically taunt via your things. So it makes well, it'll fail its will save against your illusion because Fate Master characters do not flip cards, and it has no way of beating you because your target number is too high. So it immediately is distracted by your illusion, and as such, it sort of seems to just go.
I cast like a musketeer. So he has a sword and a sort of billowing cape with this fantastic hat. He's straight out the opera with this big feather in his hat and sort of slightly blowing in the wind. And he looks terribly like a D'Artagnan kind of thing. He's just sort of flexing his blade. Like he's not actually attacking, but he's looking sort of.
Does he have a does he have a tabard with a macaroni on it?
What?
A macaroni. Sure, he does now.
Yes.
Let's do it. Yes. Yes.
All right, very well.
Terribly splendid distracting.
The gameman sort of looks at this dude and he's kind of angry and he's as the illusion sort of pokes him in the eye. Now the illusion can't do damage, but if you've ever had a laser pointer stuck in your eye, that's more or less what's happening. All right. Next up, we're back at the top of the round. John Scarpati, it is your turn.
Do I still see Billum burning?
Oh, Billum is absolutely. Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Billum, yes, you and Hortensia. Oh, sorry, Hortensia's put herself out. You are still burning and take 1 point of damage from your burn.
That will put me at 0 wounds.
Did you not heal from last time?
I only had 2 wounds.
Oh. Oh, how do you have 2 wounds? That's not right. You should have a minimum of 4. Unless you were born with a shovel in your head.
Well,
That was the part of the story we didn't hear.
Right, exactly.
What's your
I'm
resilience?
in a dumpster. with a
minus
shovel.
2.
Your resilience is -2, and your toughness?
My toughness.
Toughness rank. How much ranks do you have in toughness?
I don't have any ranks in toughness.
Okay, good. No, that's fine. It means your rank is 0. 4 plus 0, your you would have 4.
4, which would put me at 2 wounds then.
Correct. Good. Wow. I was just sitting there going, 2 hit points. That's low even for this game. Okay, very well. He's alive, everyone. Don't worry.
So I would like to. I see that those are magical flames, right? I can grasp
100%.
that. Okay, so I would like to counterspell them out.
Very well. Make your counterspelling challenge as you attempt to put out the fires that enwrap Billum.
Well, that's a 4.
You need a 12.
Wait, what?
Sorry.
I need a 12.
You need a 9.
I need a 9.
Yes.
Let me do math. Well, in that case, I will have to cheat that card. And I will play an 8. With my counterspell, this makes an 11.
All right, you put out the fires that seem to enwrap Billum. By waving your hands around, magic begins to swell and sort of funnel out of Billum's body and into your hand. It forms a singular bead that you then crush and then turn into kind of like, well, what is basically chili powder. You just...
Yeah. Right. I still need you, Billum. So keep going at it. Do I still have a second action, or is that all I have?
No, you have a second action.
Well, in that case, second action, I will shoot at the little flamey thing.
All right, make your attack.
So that's an 11 again.
All right, an 11. That will. That's a golem. I need a Gaiman. There we go. That is a 9. So you hit. Flip twice and take the lowest. This is not an undead, so you do not have any other additional penalties to it.
Okay, so just twice.
Correct.
Okay, so first one is a 9, and the
Nice.
second one is a 12. There you
Nice.
go.
Medium damage, if you would be
That's
so kind.
3 damage.
All right, 3 points of damage as your bullet shoots this creature in the back. This momentarily removes the distraction of the center stage illusion as it sort of turns to see its assailant that shot it. Ludvika, you are now not on fire.
Sopping wet. She pops open the sopping wet parasol to hide her face. And then she tries to gauge the situation. Does the creature look like it's about to attack someone? Maybe it's Kapati who shot it.
It looks like it's still maybe about to attack the illusion.
And she's just going to go forward and stretching out one ghostly hand, ready to tap someone on the shoulder. Can you kind of put your action at a later date in this game?
Yes, you can choose to either delay your action by waiting and moving yourself in initiative, or you can choose to spend one action to ready an action, which costs however much, with a contingency. Like, for example, I want to shoot him when he gets close enough to me, or touch him when he gets close enough to me.
I want to use my ghostly touch on one of my comrades if the creature attacks them.
Very well. Very well. Billum, you're up next. This creature's about your height as well, by the way. No, it's shorter than you.
Well, that's good. Since I'm no longer on fire, flap the ashes off me. Still claw in hand. I'll look at this thing. I'll look back at Skipati. Skipati. I said it right. And I'm just going to charge at it, lunge, slash it.
All right. As you charge at it, it seems to like notice you. It seems to be ready to kind of make your attack. You are just
16.
You are just slightly more ready. Straight flip as you dive your blade into it.
4.
That is low damage.
That is 1 damage.
All right. Done and done. It's still kicking, but barely.
All right. Well, second action, correct?
That's correct.
Well, I'll follow it through and try and slice up its neck. Get that.
All right.
What's that? It's a 13.
13. 13 will hit. Negative flip.
Oh, no. That's 5. 5.
All right. Which brings us to
1 damage.
Whoa. You slash at it, but you think maybe you catch a little bit more fire than you do the Gaiman. The Gaiman gets a
squirrely.
The Gaiman gets a turn. Being battered, bruised, and injured, it is going to attempt to disengage from Billum. So Billum, you're going to get to a attack. You're not going to get to do damage on the attack, but you might be able to stop it from running away.
Well, if I can attack, can I grab it?
No. This is a disengage. So basically, it's kind of like a swipe while it's trying to back off from you.
All right. Oh, well, flip. Well, that's...
You try it. You try, and it's like, no, that guy's gone. He runs, and as he runs, he... As he's trying to escape, he goes to the only place he can see that doesn't seem to have anyone in it, because everyone is outside taking photos, and that is the newspaper as he runs in. All right, Edward, you can see the gameman as it runs through the threshold. It seems to be at the receptionist, where the reception still hasn't noticed anything. Yeah, no. And then I said to Gladys, I said to her that I've got 3 things happening on Saturday, and how am I supposed to keep everything in order? It's not like we've got a calendar that's digital. Yeah, I know. I'd like to oogle that myself, but again, the barbecue got cancelled. Anyway, yep, make your attack as you take your shot.
I object, you mother.
All right,
Now,
flip your attack.
given that I'm standing right in the doorway, just pointing out that I said I was standing right in the doorway, that creature ran past me, and I see Edward more or less aiming at me, saying, "Well, take that, mother." I would be very scared at the moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's aiming kind of between your legs because this thing is tiny.
I will substitute that 6 with a 9 of rams.
Very well. In which case, what's your total?
10 pistols.
That is a negative flip. So flip twice, take the lowest. That's a red joker.
Do I still have to flip again?
You do. All right.
9.
With the red joker, that is a critical hit. You fire. And as you do so, there is this very soft, very dainty.
Oh.
Hortensia, you don't see any of that.
I'm still pretending I'm not casting a musketeer who's still just like hanging out in the street by himself now. Yeah, he's just swishing.
Swishing Cape Musketeer. All right, you slay quite valiantly the little gamin who explodes with a little soft. As this happens, there's cheers, there's photographs, as everyone seems to gather around Edward, and as they do so, they seem to grab him by the forehead and push him out of the way. Get out of the way, Miss Fiddewick! Miss Fiddewick! Who's your new friend? I think that's Harry. Yeah.
Oh, we're just talking. You know how it is when as
yes.
socialites like to have a chat now and then.
Of course. Mind your own business. Get your own story. As you see that they're taking photographs galore. Front page news showing up. He says, "Look, this has been absolutely delightful, but if my missus ever catches wind of those photos before I tell her, then I'm going to be in a world of hurt. Look, I wish I could look into your story a little bit more. Of course, anyone who dares to take a shot at you is definitely someone who's taken a shot at this whole country, and I will not rest until the culprit is brought to justice."
Quite my thoughts exactly. Well, Harry, it has been charming, but why don't you run along now and we shall speak later.
No, the pleasure's all mine, miss. And he sort of taps his hat and he goes off and he walks around and he sees Ludovica, who's, parasol dripping wet. You watch as he sort of takes off his jacket and he hands it to her. "You look cold, miss. Frightful weather for that kind of thing. Don't know how you Europeans do it, but it's always a bit nippy for me." And he goes inside.
Thank you very much. I hold it out towards Willem. Maybe you found something. You can have it.
I'll take it and I'll put it on backwards.
All right. With the street quieting down, some people taking photos of the burnt smear that was once the cultist. Some of the people, like the whole group of them, have scattered, and there's no sign of the little tiny critter or whatever it happened to be. You are all left to your own devices in the streets just outside.
I would like to walk over to Edward.
Yeah, me too.
Pat him on the shoulder and say, "That was a really good shot. Maybe we should keep you drunk for the rest of this adventure."
Well, I'm flattered that you even noticed. Oh, oh, Madam Molenbeek, who, oh, you're sort of,
Yes, I know. She's got a parasol basically right in front of her face.
I rather think we should get out of here quite quickly, as a matter of fact. I think
Yes, we should. Also, what's the musketeer doing here?
I just wrapped him up. But yeah, and up until Harry went through and everything else, he's just been stood there swishing. I didn't change the illusion, so he's just been sort of swishing and lunging at nothing in the street. I leave the cafe. I put down a few script to pay and sort of wander up to these people. So, what on earth happened? Oh, darling,
They have set a man on fire, but
you're dripping.
In my defense, he was planning to set fire to the newspaper, and I thought that was not a good idea while 3 of us were still inside.
Why ever was he trying to do that? I pull out a handkerchief from my boobs, start, like dabbing her.
Thank you, love. Thank you. I might have cracked my face a bit.
Oh, darling, it's fine. It's fine. It'll all come out in the wash. So they wanted to set fire to the newspaper, and then that creature showed up. What on earth was that? That was trying to keep that dreadful American busy. It really is tedious.
Well, he burst into flames. His soul was on fire, to be honest. And then Willem cut him up until he exploded into a smaller creature of fire, and then Edward shot him right between Scarpati's legs.
Oh.
Yeah.
How unusual, I suppose. Gosh, what a hullabaloo. Okay, well, have we learned anything? The real question.
So while you took the reporter out, we had the opportunity to search his office. I think, well, the most important thing is we know that his fiancée, Harriet, was talking to Miss Ottoman and should have returned by now, but she hasn't. Her next appointment would have been at the London Museum, a place I know quite well from my work. But still, the question is, should we look for Miss Harriet at Miss Ottoman, or should we try to catch her when she arrives at the London Museum? Did you learn anything new from the reporter?
I learned that he's terribly tedious. Harriet appears to be the brains of the operation, and he appears to be the trousers, which in this world is really all you need, apparently. So,
see, I told you, Atwood. Not an interest in that American.
Oh.
You're still in the game.
In what game? I have not.
No, nothing. Oh, absolutely nothing. Let's get Madam Molenbeek needs to get out of their wet clothes and that sort of thing. It is a wonderful day.
That's so very true. Thank you, Edward, for noticing. Should we maybe go to some other place where we're a little bit less conspicuous?
All right.
Feeling watched.
With some information now in hand regarding the museum, Harriet Hawthorne, and the investigation into Spring Heel Jack, you begin to make your way towards the museum. Along the way, Madame Ludovica, you decide to take a stop by an old friend, an individual who runs an old apothecary, a tall individual that is rarely seen outside of his medical uniform, as he likes to call it. The bell to your door to the door of the apothecary rings as you step in, and you see standing before you a tall individual with a plague doctor's mask and a small pork pie hat. His name is Simon Grundy. Dr. Simon Grundy, MD.
Dr. Grundy. She
Madam...
she tries to get her veil and hat, everything half singed, half sopping.
Madam Molenbeek, to what terrible fate and catastrophe has led you to this awful state. Please come in and make yourself warm.
Yes. I think I will need some of the ointments to keep, fresh
Of
and
course.
living like.
Of course, I have a batch right here. For
thank
2
you so
scripts,
much.
I have put together all of the necessary makeups and oils that you require. Tell me, who are your friends? They seem a lot more lively than your usual company.
Oh, they're fine nonetheless. Well, this is a well-known barrister, Hargrave Montague. Dr. Scarpati, archaeologist. The grandiose diva, Hortensia Fiddlewick. And this is Spillum, who's planning to murder Dr. Scarpati with his friend LaRouche.
Oh, tell me, young Billum, was it? What do you
Eh?
intend to do with the good doctor's body once it's disposed of? I mean,
It's
there are-
Professor.
My apologies, Professor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Once the Professor has left this world, there is much that can still be gleaned, knowledge is to be gained from beyond his mind, but from his very flesh itself. Perhaps you would leave some of the burial to me, once he has, of course, in due time, good Professor, left his mortal form.
Why don't you answer, Billum? I would like to hear the answer as well.
I was planning to make some kind of puppet.
While that might be admirable, I could afford you 10 script for the body. That way, perhaps you could purchase a puppet, should you require one.
10's pretty low.
Am I still drunk?
Yeah.
Yes,
Professor,
dear.
are you here? I mean, is this a joke? I'm assuming something.
No. I think he's quite serious on that. It's not that I know of. Well, it's kind of admirable to see how much he's putting up to become my associate and take my position. I'm rather enjoying the situation. Don't worry.
And of course, do not worry of yourself, Professor. I am, of course, most respectful for those who donate to the medical sciences.
Well, I will consider your offer, but honestly, I prefer to be eaten by worms and not to, well, be in your hands. So,
How very,
so
very old-fashioned.
I mean,
why?
why don't you pay me 10 now and give me 50 later, and I'll consider the offer.
I see you are a man of quite good appraisal skills, but how about this instead? He reaches into his pocket and hands you out a leech. Put this on your tongue, and it'll ensure that your silver tongue remains less bacterially infected. Gremlin are well known for dental diseases, and a leech on the tongue helps purify.
No, man, you put it on barbecue.
Some have decided to barbecue. That is also an applicable method of consumption. They do wonders for the skin as well.
Who are you again?
Just a friend. He then says he then packs up a small little case, hands it to Ludovica, which obviously contains all the makeup stuff that you need to make yourself appear well. It takes you about 10 minutes to set up your disguise, and after which point you return to the streets. Is there anything you guys want to discuss before we hit the museum?
If no one else, I would ask Billum to hand me the. I think he took the canter with him, with the scotch in it.
Mm-hmm.
I would offer Edward another glass on the way out.
I'll discard my last fake card and pull out my hidden stash. A flask of alcohol, not the decanter.
Oh.
Very well. Doing so, you begin to share the spoils of your journey, and as you do so, from high above the streets of London, unseen by our group, a individual stands haunched like a gargoyle on one of the cornices of a building. It moves, following their movements and tracing it. A gentleman in a tuxedo who seems to be locked on their position, eyes staring, predatory, curious, and assessing them. And that is where we are going to leave today's session. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging around. We did go a little bit over time, so we are going to do a very, 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 very quick wrap up for everyone and tell us what is going on. So starting with Anthony. Anthony, where do we find you? What sort of stuff are you up to right now?
Cool. Well, you can find me over on Roll for Damage. That's ROLE for damage. In about half an hour, where I'm going to be doing my D&D game called The Internship. You can catch me behind the scenes there pretty much every day of the week now. That's me.
All right. Janet, where can we find you and all the amazing stuff that you do?
You can find worldanvil.com, which is the ultimate place to build your world, play your games, and in about 3 weeks, write your novels as well. Yes, we have a full novel writing software also coming. Basically, if you're doing something creative, you should be doing it on World Anvil. It's an awesome spot. You should go check it out. And we also stream 5 times a week with webinars and interviews. I'm interviewing Brian McClellan this week. That's all on youtube.com/worldanvil or twitch.tv/worldanvil. We're at World Anvil pretty much everywhere. Come find us. We have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Mighty, where can we find you and the awesome things that you have going on for yourself as well?
You can usually find me under Orkenschweiter TV, which maybe I should write in the chat because,
No,
German...
we have the Streamlabs thing all set up,
Very
so
nice.
You've got all the links there.
Yeah, on Twitch and YouTube, and we do role playing, actual play, tabletop, painting, miniatures, playing whatever we get our hands on. Today is our community day, so we're going to play with our community and do crazy stuff and talk to them on Zoom chats and everything. And beware, it's mostly German. I'm sorry.
But is it still Community Wednesday?
Yep.
It's still Community Wednesday on Thursday. Yeah, that's true.
But fun fact, a lot of the audience members do also speak English, and I'm more than happy to interact and have fun with people who don't speak German. So it is absolutely 100% still worth checking out, even if German is not necessarily your first language. It will absolutely make you fall in love with the language and want to learn it. So, of course, next up, Till, where can we find you and your wonderful things?
You can find us at dungeonfog.com, the map-making software where you can online draw battle maps. It's Dungeon Fog through all social media handles. So it's Twitter at Dungeon Fog, it's Facebook Dungeon Fog, it's Instagram Dungeon Fog. So there you can find me and join us in Discord, have a chat with us. We're always happy to chat with you and listen to all the great ideas that you bring, how we could improve our map-making software.
Very cool. And Guy, what are you up to? What sort of mischief have you gotten yourself into today?
Today's Thursday, so that's it from me for today. Yay! Saturday night I'm doing Hello World, which is a world building stream for 2 hours where we have experts like World Anvil coming and joining us and showing us how to do it better. And we've been learning amazing things, and that's interactive. So we're building the world based on the input from people who watch. And that's it. Well, that's it for Saturday anyway. So come and join us for that. It's a lot of fun.
Very nice. And another very, very quick shout out is that there is the Circle of Game Masters, which event is happening at the end of the Circle of
World Builders.
World Builders. Sorry,
Game Masters Masterclass.
That one. that thing. We're gonna put a link in the chat, or Eddie is gonna put a link in the chat. Go and check it out. It is a workshop that covers world building, map making. It's a bunch of really, really cool stuff. There are just such amazing things if you are into role-playing games and into building your own worlds. Very, very, very much worth going and checking out at the end of the month. And of course, I have been Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer. You can find me on anywhere you can type in Dead Aussie Gamer. You can also find me here at the Mercs of Mischief every week on a Thursday with these fine and wonderful people playing Through the Breach, which is, of course, our wonderful and awesome bit of adventure-y kind of role-playing. I don't know, it's really hard to describe, but yeah, you know, it's our role-playing thing. Now, if you are also not haven't been here before, the Mercs of Mischief have a bunch of very cool and awesome shows that we can watch. There's the Avalon Knights, the Too Many Warlocks, as well as the Hero Factory series, which is currently up and running, which, yeah, very, very popular. Get to play and watch as people build heroes using the Hero Forge software. So some awesome and cool things there. If you want to come and hang out with us, I will be hanging out on the Discord shortly after this. So head on over to the Discord page, which I will put a link in the chat below. And from us to you guys, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, as always, game hard or die trying. Bye-bye.
Oh, when you smiling, when you smiling, the whole world smiles with you, yes, when you laughing, when you